heading into our sweet spot, right? We get into late February and into March, nicest time of the year. We have spring training coming up. A lot of snowbirds are coming down, enjoying the games and our beautiful weather.
So take a look here at this shot. This is Toronto, Canada. We just took in this shot, and it's one of the city's webcams. It looks a little bit cold, don't you think?
Maybe 18 degrees.
Just a tad, a tad cold. So you can see why sunny Arizona this time of year is so appealing for folks living there north of the border. And so this morning, a closer look at the number of Canadian visitors we have here in Arizona and the economic impact they have on our state as well.
We're talking to Glenn Williamson, who's the CEO and founder of the Canada-Arizona Business Council. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Appreciate
good morning
Absolutely.
to you.
Absolutely. I got up, didn't have to shovel snow.
Boom.
I just wandered over.
And I think that's the draw, right, for a lot of Canadians. Are they still coming down here in droves the way they were during our economic crisis?
Even more.
Okay.
Really?
Even more. So Arizona is a point that Canadians adore. They come down from Vancouver. They used to come down heavily from Calgary. Now we're seeing Toronto and Montreal with all the direct flights.
Yeah, and that helps a lot, too. You're also saying that when you talk about real estate, and I was telling you off camera that I end up golfing with a lot of Canadians, you just get paired up or whatever, and they're super nice people, first of all. But second of all, they all seem pretty dang well off. Like everything's just fine money-wise for them. You know, they'll come down, I'm here for like 3 months, but it's okay, I'll go back up there. What are they doing to make all this money?
It's a very, very industrious country. The GDP in Canada is doing very, very well. And you've got a group of Canadians that have reached a point where it's easier for them to come down here during the winters. And then what they've started to do now is move their companies down here.
Oh.
So now we're watching a much younger crew come down. They're buying houses in Silverleaf and Desert Mountain. They're landing their private jets out at Scottsdale Airport, and they're moving their companies here instead of California and instead of the East Coast of the United States. So if you have a choice and you're setting up a U.S. operation, which every Canadian company does,
Right.
sun, snow. You're already in snow, so sun makes all the sense in the world. Right. So 400 of those companies are down here now.
Well, 400. When you talk about some of those companies, what type of companies, what business
Circle
are they
K.
in?
They're out of Montreal. Alimation Couche-Tard, Bank of Montreal. You'll see the big old dial building. It says BMO. That's Bank of Montreal. Royal Bank of Canada is down here. You've got Stantec down here out of Edmonton and Calgary. A company that I'm affiliated with called EPCOR, the Edmonton Power Company. We're the largest private water utility in the state of Arizona, and we've invested over $1 billion in this state in the last 5 years.
Wow.
Wow.
And you were also telling me stories about real estate, how it's just gotten so crazy, especially on the west coast of Canada, right? Explain why that's happening.
So we're sitting in Canada right now. It's not unusual in Toronto or Vancouver to pay $3,000 a square foot.
Wow.
And that's got to be some of the priciest real estate in the world, right?
It is. And a lot of this is a very large Asian and international confluence coming into Canada. So you end up with Canadians that have lived there for a longer time. Let's say they might be 40, 50, 60 now, and they decide to sell their house at $3,000 a square foot. That's a good chunk of coin. And they're going, jeepers, you know, I don't really want to be up here all the time.
Right.
So they end up finding a sunny spot like Arizona, and they go, this is fun. And it's not the old moniker of Arizona, the retirement community. Because the way Phoenix has grown, it has become an international city. Right. So all the things you talked about, Barrett-Jackson, the Arabian Horse Show coming up, the amount of horses that are transported down from Canada every year would boggle your mind. They are everywhere down here.
And you spoke a little bit about travel. We were in Vancouver last March. We took the family, the direct flights from Phoenix. And when you mentioned the Asian influence, there's neighborhoods there in Vancouver who are transitioning to all Asian neighborhoods, right? Because the influence is so large.
Correct. And Vancouver, you know, British Columbia did this on purpose. This goes way, way back when you could actually buy a Canadian passport.
Right.
And that happened, and subsequently now, Vancouver is doing so well that they are having to add surcharges onto their apartments for making sure people are actually living in them 12 months of the year.
Wow.
And it's an astonishing story. So with the 200 nonstop flights coming from Canada a week to Arizona, we are watching this huge amount of wealth come down here. And with 100,000 houses owned by Canadians in this neighborhood, they are now starting to come down, and they spend about $1.4 billion on top of the tourists.
So you're saying 100,000 homes in the valley are owned by Canadians?
Throughout the entire state.
Oh, the whole state of Arizona?
Sure. Yuma doubles in size right now because of Canadians.
Oh, wow.
Completely doubles in size. So the mayor down there adores Canada.
I bet he does.
They go, and we're watching. The governor here goes up to Canada now. We're going up again, but we've done this a couple of times with the governor. The mayors go up. So we're watching the government officials pay very, very close attention to what's going on with the Canadian market.
And you know what's really neat to see is the huge amount of Canadians that actually support the Phoenix Coyotes. They love our Phoenix Coyotes.
Well, it's a national sport in Canada.
Very cool, yeah.
And you'll find them everywhere.
Great talking with you, Glenn.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
You
nice
bet.
to meet
Let's
you.
do
Thanks
it
for
again.
coming in.
Yeah. How about that? Who knew? Canadian.